Good evening, everybody. I'd like to call this meeting to order. Tonight is the Village Board meeting for July 7th, 2025. And if we would all please rise and join the Village Board in a Pledge of Allegiance, it'd be great. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, thank you very much. Well, we have a full house tonight. Must be some sort of a promotion going on, I think. First item of business is approval of minutes from 6/16/2025. Are there any additions, corrections, or
Excuse me,
changes
Mayor,
from the board?
should we call roll first?
Oh,
please?
maybe we should call roll first. How about that? Becky, our clerk, would you please call the roll?
Schwingbeck.
Here.
Trustee Shirley.
Here.
Trustee Manganaro.
Here.
Trustee Dunnington.
Here.
Trustee LaBedz.
Here.
Trustee Bertucci.
Here.
Trustee Zyck.
Here.
Trustee Santa Maria.
Here.
President Tinaglia.
Here. Thank you for correcting me there. I'll get this right before it's too long. Now what we'll do is we'll talk about the approval of minutes from 6/16. Any additions, corrections, or changes from anyone on the board? Anybody need to vote pass? If not, I think a motion for approval.
I move approval of the minutes of June 16, 2025.
Second.
Motion made by trustee LaBedz, second by trustee Dunnington. Anyone in the audience, changes, anything else? No other discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Okay, and now item 5 is approval of accounts payable, and I'll call on trustee Bertucci.
Thank you, Mayor. I'll move approval of the warrant register for the check date June 30th, 2025 in the amount of $5,344,095.61.
Second.
Motion made by trustee Bertucci, seconded by trustee Schwingbeck. Any discussion or anyone from the audience? Seeing none, roll call vote, please.
Trustee Bertucci.
Yes.
Trustee Schwingbeck.
Yes.
Trustee Dunnington.
Yes.
Trustee Santa Maria.
Yes.
Trustee Shirley.
Yes.
Trustee Manganaro.
Aye.
Trustee LaBedz.
Yes.
Trustee Zyck.
Yes.
President Tinaglia.
Yes. All right, and now for the reason most of us are here tonight, we occasionally get the privilege of honoring some of our employees here in the village, and tonight I want to call on our awesome Police Chief Nick Pecora to please step up.
Well, good evening, Mayor and members of the board. Tonight, the police department is excited to be here on your agenda and promote one of our detectives to police sergeant. So if you'll allow me to read a little bit about Jeff. Officer Jeff Fontana began his career with the Arlington Heights Police Department in 2014. He received a Bachelor of Science degree in Business Marketing from Northern Illinois University. During his tenure with the Village of Arlington Heights, Jeff served as a patrol officer, field training officer, school resource officer, and most recently, a general case detective in the Criminal Investigation Bureau. Jeff's ancillary responsibilities include being an in-house instructor in rapid deployment, taser, less lethal munitions, and TAC Med. Jeff is accredited in the state of Illinois as a lead homicide investigator, certified school resource officer, and certified juvenile officer. Jeff is the recipient of numerous letters of appreciation from surrounding communities, departmental commendations, and distinguished performance citations. When not at work, Jeff spends time with his 4 children, Grady, Barrett, Cara, and Logan. He's passionate about fishing and any sport his children participate in. Mayor, if you do the honors and promote Jeff to sergeant, it would make us very happy. Jeff, would you step forward? Follow the mayor's lead, please. Front and center.
Okay. Is this working okay? Very good. I'm going to make it so that they can hear you, not so much me. All right, ready? Where did my glasses go? This is craziness. I can't believe I'm this old. Is that me?
No.
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 I thought I turned it off. Okay, Jeff, ready?
Yes.
Please state your name in full.
Jeffrey Fontana.
having been appointed to the office of Police Sergeant
Having been appointed to the office of Police Sergeant
in the Village of Arlington Heights,
in the Village of Arlington Heights,
in the County of Cook,
in the County of Cook,
do solemnly swear and affirm
do solemnly swear and affirm
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United
and
States
the Constitution of the State of Illinois,
and the Constitution of the State of Illinois,
and that I will faithfully discharge the duties
and I will faithfully discharge the duties
of the office according to the best of my ability.
of the office according to the best of my ability.
Very good.
Thank you.
Excellent.
I believe someone has the honor to pin Sergeant Fontana's star on his sheet.
This is great. That's actually pretty good. Sometimes it takes a lot longer. Don't go too far. You gotta come back up. Chief, are you gonna come up for a photo, or you wanna take a little speech here real quick? Say thanks?
Sure.
There you
I
go.
guess I
Little
did prepare
pressure.
a little something. No worries. All right, I'll be short and sweet. I'd like to take the opportunity to thank the many people who have helped me get to where I am today. Obviously, there's a lot, but I'll keep it short. I'd like to thank my supervisors over the past several years. They've been great mentors, leading with honesty and integrity. They have provided great advice and led by example, and I plan to take what they have taught me and put that into my own practice. I'd like to thank my colleagues from patrol and from criminal investigations. I've built some great friendships over the years, and I really appreciate everything that you guys have done for me. Most importantly, I'd like to thank my family. There's been a lot of changes, especially with schedules over the past several weeks, and I anticipate there will be several more. I just want to say thank you for everything and being supportive. I couldn't do this without you guys, and I love you very much. And I'm excited to start the next chapter of my career, and I look forward to the challenges and opportunities that come my way. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Yes.
So while we're in recognitions and communications, it's not on the agenda right at the moment here, but I think it's appropriate that we recognize another member of our wonderful family here in Arlington Heights Village Hall, and her name is Becky Hune. I've known Becky for quite a long time, and for 17 years, she's been here at Village Hall, 14 of those years as our esteemed village clerk. You've served the community with professionalism, integrity, and an unwavering commitment to public service. You've been meticulous with your record keeping, your super friendly presence, and your tireless support and everything you've done has been instrumental in ensuring the smooth and transparent operations of our clerk's department. Becky, you have been outstanding. And I don't know how many more fabulous people we can take retirements from around here. You're just the newest in a long list, but congratulations on a wonderful career and doing such a great job here for all of us. So from deep in my heart, thank you very, very much for all that you've done.
Thank you.
I know that Manager Reckles has a few more things he'd like to add to that because he knows you better than the rest of us.
So I know that this has got to be very hard for Becky because Becky's very comfortable being in the background. And she's one of those people that has done so much keeping us all going in the background. She's always been a consummate professional. In her job, she comes across a lot of confidential information. She's always dealt with that with discretion. She's always done her job efficiently, but she's also been a really big part, I think a lot of people don't realize this, of the village's transparency goals behind the scenes. Aside from sitting here and taking minutes and calling the roll, she played a big role in converting all of our records from paper to digital. And when you have records going back to 1887, that is not a small feat. Assisting in implementing the latest economic or electronic agenda management system, and the conversion of an electronic solution for FOIA. The village receives about 200 FOIA requests every month. And during her time here, by our math, she's assisted in the processing of about 6,000 FOIA requests. She has attended and written minutes for more than 340 village board and committee of the whole meetings. She's overseen 8 municipal elections. And in her time during the village, she became a registered municipal clerk, a certified municipal clerk, a deputy voter registrar, a notary public, a certified volunteer manager. And she also maintained membership in the International State and Local Municipal Clerks Association. And she's been just a vital link between the community departments and the village board, and her contributions are always reflected in the trust and sense of community that she's helped foster. And so I just want her to make sure she understands how well loved and how long remembered and sincerely valued she is here. It's a big loss. We're very fortunate that we have someone in Maggie Mateo who's going to be taking the reins starting at the next meeting. But we're very lucky to have had Becky as our clerk, and I just want to say thank you on behalf of the village staff.
All right, wonderful. Next item on our agenda is citizens to be heard, and I do have 4 blue cards here at the moment. If anyone else has something that they'd like to speak about that is not on the agenda, please feel free to grab one of these at the back of the room and hand it up to Becky, and we'll get you a spot here. The first person I have is Linda Weissy. Linda, come on up. And if you haven't, I know you've been here before, but it's a 3-minute rule, please, and
Of course.
have at it. Tell us your name.
Hi, I'm Linda Wasey, member of Southminster Presbyterian Church in Arlington Heights. I'm here to address a concern for Angel, the African-American woman using the bench outside Senator Mark Walker's campaign office. Angel has been described to me as being a quiet and shy woman of few words. She has committed no crimes and done nothing illegal to my knowledge, and she sits quietly for hours on the bench. She has collected more and more belongings now that fill the bench. Unhoused people's lives are complicated. Lots of things seem to go wrong for her, like losing her ID. And recently, I talked to a friend whose son is a social worker at Thresholds. He has been successful in getting people an ID when they have lost theirs. So there are solutions for her that will make her days more than just surviving. There seems to be three issues here. A group of men who seem to be noisy, drinking, talking together, sitting near Angel. And from what I've heard, she isn't talking to them much at all. The amount of her belongings has grown to such a degree that she can hardly move about the village easily, making it hard for her to bring her stuff along with her. And thirdly, the concern for her well-being in freezing, bitter cold, blistering, hot summer days. The question for us today is, how can we help Angel? I want to thank Darren, the village social worker, who has taken the time to get to know her and has tried to help her over the last year, as well as Monica from Northwest Compass. How can we respect her and offer her a place to live and sleep? What creative solutions can we come up with? And thankfully, there are many resources at the village, township, other nonprofit organizations that are familiar and expert in dealing with complicated cases. Maybe this is the time to build or repurpose a building that is transitional housing with services. What are other models, other towns doing on this issue? Let's have some constructive conversations with people in the village, and I think some folks that are behind me in the condo, the township, Cook County commissioners, nonprofits, to help this vulnerable population and fill this need. Let's do this together with some good solutions and conversations. Thank you.
Thank you, Linda. The next one I have is from Jim Platania.
Jim Platania, 2 West Northwest Highway. I work with my family's business, Platania Financial, right at Dunton and Northwest Highway. And I'm here to provide a perspective as one of the surrounding businesses in the area. Our business, we're family run. We take a lot of pride in both our business and our actual building in terms of its appearance, cleanliness, and most importantly, the safety of our team and our clients. We have clients come to see us almost every day, and it's really important to us that 1, clients feel safe, and 2, our team members feel safe as well. These last several months, we've seen more and more individuals congregate near the corner of Minor and Northwest Highway, leading to disruption for businesses like ours. We've witnessed drinking, we've heard arguing and yelling, we've seen a significant increase in the trash surrounding our building, and we do have a concern for the safety of our team members and clients. We do care about the homeless and hope that they can get the help that they need. But there has to be a better solution than allowing more and more individuals to camp out on the sidewalks day after day for months on end. We ask that the Board of Trustees work to find a resolution to this issue, one that considers all parties, including the business community. Thank you.
Thank you. Next on the list here is Donald Mearsman. Donald, are you here?
My name is Donald Mearsman. I've lived in Arlington Heights for 43 years. Please accept my apologies if I'm asking questions that have already been answered in the public domain. 2 questions on the same issue. I'd like to know the status of the economic impact statement from the McCaskies to the Village of Arlington Heights concerning the economic consequences of the redevelopment of the racetrack. I would also like to know the status of the economic impact statement commissioned by the Village of Arlington Heights on the same topic. I believe these have both been mentioned in the news media. I believe the McCaskey supplied a draft report that has not been released. This is a very complex issue. Transparency is very important, and the taxpayers need time to understand. The consequences are immense, and the more time we have to consider the information, the better. Thank you very much.
Thank you. And your questions are good and they're accurate. Village Manager Recklaus, can you give us a real brief update on both of those questions?
Happy to. There's a couple of studies that are underway. There's a study on transportation parking issues on the site. There is a study on economic impact and financial matters with the site, and for each one of them, there is one that's being done by the Chicago Bears Football Club, and then one that's being done by the village's own consultants. When we talked about this in the contracts were approved back in April, as I mentioned then, this is very much an iterative process. It's not as simple as you get a report and that's going to be how it is. Essentially what happens is there's a draft that's done that is then vetted by our consultants, and they say, have you considered this? And then they come back, and this goes back and forth. For a project of this size and this magnitude, we only have one chance of getting this right. And so we anticipate that back and forth is going to go on for some time because there's a number of factors that impact traffic, parking, economics, land use, and so forth. All of those things can change and evolve over time. So while that process is still underway and we're very actively engaged with it, there will be plenty of time for the public to see that information, see any plans that are developed, discuss the impact of those. That will be a very public process when the time comes. And so while there's nothing we can release at this point, that work is very much underway. And as you noted, it is a complex project. It's something that we take very seriously.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Manager Recklaus. Next speaker is Melissa Kayer.
Hello. What was the amount of the warrant register total?
Can the clerk
'Cause I
repeat
thought I
that?
heard it wrong, but
I'm sorry, what was your question?
what was the amount of the warrant registered total?
$5,344,095.61.
Oh, okay, that's correct. Or that's what was on the agenda. Where's the property tax bill, second installment?
When is it?
Yeah, where is it? It should be, we should have gotten it by now.
Yeah, that is going to come from Cook County, not from us. I honestly couldn't tell you the answer to that. Randy, any ideas?
No, we certainly aren't in charge of the schedule of when property tax bills are issued.
All right, and at the last cow meeting, you asked the village staff to come up with different ways to get tax receipts. Did they give a report on that to replace the food tax?
I'm not sure I understand the question.
They were going to come up with different ideas for tax revenue instead of using the food tax.
Oh, no, that's not been solved yet, no.
All right. Let's see. Can you explain what the streaming tax is? How would it be paid and how would you get the money?
That's going to be a topic that we're going to go in depth with here before too long. Manager Recklaus, you want to shed any light on that at all?
It'll be something we talk about this fall, but no, I mean, it is essentially a replacement for the cable franchise and telecommunications tax. It would something that would be showing up on a bill. Those are taxes that as recently as 2012, we were receiving about $5.6 million a year in revenue. Currently, we only receive just under $2 million, and so we're looking to make up a portion of that through a streaming tax.
What bill would it show up on?
Any bill for any streaming service.
For example,
If you stream a YouTube TV or something like that, it'll end up on that bill.
Netflix, Hulu, any service that you might use.
that any subscription service you pay for, you're going to charge a rate on a subscription service.
Correct.
All right.
If the board approves it. It's not something that's been approved
Why
yet.
don't you consider a sports field use tax? That's entertainment. A government employee head tax. I think government employees are the highest number of employees in this town. District 214. Health club tax. Jump on the foreign fire insurance tax. Get an additional percentage like the firefighters get. remove the nonprofit organization sales tax status, get the sales tax from that. Golf game tax. Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you. The last blue card I have is for David Weiner. David, come on up.
Thank you. My name is David Weiner, and I live at 201 North Vale. I spoke at the June 16th Village Board meeting regarding the homeless issue at our building. I'm joined tonight by several of my neighbors. I think we've probably got 11 or 12 units represented here, and also the owner of the building next to ours where Javier's Restaurant is located. In the last 3 weeks, the situation has only got worse. The woman who occupies the bench full-time, which one of the previous speakers talked about, has definitely accumulated more stuff. The pile has grown and now extends well beyond the bench and onto our retaining wall. She is joined by a regular group of 3 or 4 individuals that are there from early morning until late evening. They have set up chairs on the sidewalk, making it difficult for people to pass. The trash container is constantly overflowing, much of it empty beer cans. They sit on our retaining wall, fill our planting beds with trash. We have witnessed them walking up the sidewalk to our building's rear entrance and urinating in the planting beds. They have gone behind the bushes next to our building and used our outside outlets to recharge phones. We've now had to disable those outlets to discourage them from doing this. We found cases of beer hidden behind the bushes, along with other personal belongings. Again, noise, shouting, arguing, and profanity occurs all day long. I remind you that the property that they are trespassing on belongs to 61 unit owners who are taxpayers and voters. This is our home, just like yours. We expect to have a couple of units on the market shortly, and I can only imagine the impression this encampment makes on prospective buyers. While we want to be respectful of the plight of the homeless, we continue to look to the village leadership for some relief in this situation. Allowing this to continue will send the message to this group of people that Arlington Heights is welcoming to the occupying of public spaces. I urge the village board to take action before this becomes a more common issue in other parts of the village. Thank you for letting me address you.
Thank you, David. I think I'll say just a couple of quick comments and repeat what has been said to a degree. This is a very, very tough topic, and it pulls on the heartstrings in so many different directions for those who are without and for those who deal with the consequences of. And I know this board is struggling with this right now. But I can assure you that it is at the very top of our list of things that need to get taken care of. Manager Recklouse and I have this list of topics that we plan to discuss at our Committee of the Whole meetings, and this is right up there to get it done. What will be the answer? I can't tell you, but I know that it's important to get solved. I think Trustee Bertucci had a comment he wanted to make.
Yes, thank you, Mayor. Once again, Dave, thank you for expressing and all your neighbors there that have come and also Jim, for you and your family too. Again, as stated the last time, foremost, it is most important that we get this woman help. And there's no question that because she is there, and from what I've come to understand, that she is a very easygoing person, and in and of herself, she's not necessarily inviting these other people, but she's unfortunately other people who are do not have the same personality as her being attracted to that area, and we have this issue that Dave and his neighbors are experiencing over at the building. And I'm going to say to this board that I believe it's unacceptable, and we've been waiting for staff now, And we do need to move this along. We need answers. I know that we were, looking for some legal on this and that type of thing, but we've got to move it to the top of the list. And so I'd like to know where exactly we are at with ideas, options, and recommendations.
I'm happy to answer that question, Trustee Bertucci. This is something that is very much actively being worked on by staff. I had a meeting with Mila Sagalas, our Director of Health and Human Services, on this the very end of last week. Village Attorney Hart Passman and I are discussing this the middle of this week. Our goal is to have a range of options provided to the village board in the next couple of days. And then Mayor Tinaglia and I are already involved in discussions about what an appropriate meeting would be for the board to take this on. So this is very much a priority. It's not something that we've put to the bottom of the pile, but I can tell you that there'll be more information going to the board for consideration in the next, handful of days, so that this can be taken on at an appropriate meeting.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Trustee Schwingbeck?
Thank you, Mayor. Randy, when we first started talking about this, it was on public property.
Correct.
I mean, I'm hearing tonight that it's now encroaching onto private property. So what can be done there?
So if someone is routinely on private property, they can be trespassed and given a trespass warning by the police department, and then they can be cited for that. What we've said along is if there are individuals engaging in illegal activity, that can be addressed. We have had occasions on this site with this group of individuals. If they are engaging in illegal activity, and they have on occasion, they've been cited. We have had additional police activity, police patrols in that area to keep an eye on the situation, and when they see illegal activity, they do cite the individuals, and they have done so in this case. The other thing I'll point out is not all of the individuals that are congregating there are actually unhoused. Some of them are just, I guess you'd call, hanging out in that vicinity. And that's something that, adds to the complexity of this particular issue. And as was noted, our social services division is working very closely with that particular individual, not to get into the private issues of that individual, but working very carefully to identify options for them, open doors for them, make connections for them to other agencies, because we are fortunate that we do have a robust network of social service agencies, and we have good relationships with all of them to provide the opportunities that we can to those individuals. And so we're working on all fronts on the social service side, and as well as identifying options for the board to consider on the regulatory side as well.
Okay, thank you.
Anyone else? Trustee Shirley?
Randy, maybe not for whatever you're going to get to us this week, but I think it would be interesting to see what our neighbors are doing, if anything, on these issues, because
Sure.
it used to be an issue along the Northwest commuter line. So Des Plaines, Mount Prospect, Palatine, Arlington Heights would have similar issues. I don't know if that's the case, anymore, or if that's the case here. We may have other communities that aren't on that rail line that have issues on public property with people, camping out, living. So I would just ask that maybe we can kind of look at that as well, just to see what perhaps some other municipalities have done in similar situations in an attempt to, keep the peace, so to speak.
Very happy to do that. And, one thing I'll point out is, as you all know, the village enacted new rules for regulating behavior in village-owned parking facilities. And that, moved the issue outside of our village parking facilities successfully. A couple of years ago, we had more issues in our Metra stations. The village has worked with Metra to reduce that issue and eliminate that issue. And what we see is that the situation kind of moves every time you do that. That kind of underscores the challenge of this. But I know that Metra has worked with us as well as some of the adjacent communities that kind of help with their facilities. But you end up moving it from one place to another, and that's why we're trying to look at some of these broader issues as well as the regulatory side.
Thank you.
Okay. Trustee Santa Maria.
Thank you, Mayor Tinaglia. First, I just wanted to say thank you to Darren and to the village because I had a very long conversation with him, and he really talked about the year-plus work that he's put into this case specifically, and the amount of work that the village has done with this individual and just working with unhoused individuals has been extremely amazing. And so thank you to the staff for doing that. I do think that this is a very complex situation. It's not going to go away with the amount of affordable housing that we do not have in Arlington Heights. I think this problem will just continue to grow. And so I'm going to ask our board to play the tape out because whatever we come up with will have consequences long term. And so I think we need to be very thoughtful and strategic with whatever we do. We removed benches from the train station and the issue just moved somewhere else, right? And so if we remove benches here, the issue will move somewhere else. And so without being proactive and having a different solution in addition to whatever we do here, we are going to be having this conversation over and over again. So again, I just think that we need to take the time to think about what the best solution long-term will be. Thank you.
Thank you, Trustee Santa Maria. We will, and I think you can all, the takeaway from tonight is this is an important issue. We hear you all loud and clear, both sides of the equation, and we will find the appropriate time here very quickly as soon as we get this information from staff, and we will all have an in-depth dialogue so that everybody knows all the facts and all the information. We can make a wise decision. That's my pledge. Okay, so we'll move on.
Mayor,
yes.
Just quickly, I am in and out of the 14 West Minor door with some regularity and have been observing the situation, as you mentioned, as it has unfolded from being something very quiet and unobtrusive to something that I was there over the weekend, and I appreciate the disruption is far too mild of a term that it causes for your neighborhood you're building. I do see this as a social services and a housing attainability issue at its core, and agree with Trustee Santa Maria that we need to address those issues, to continue to address them. And I will also I would like to also thank the HHS group for their continued work with these folks. I want to make sure that not only do we not just move the problem from one bench, from one place to another, but that we don't take steps that could be perceived as criminalizing homelessness. We can deal with lawlessness. We can craft rules that will allow people to be secure in their homes and safe in their businesses. And I believe we can do that without, as I say, criminalizing being unhoused. Thank you.
Okay. That ends that discussion for now. The next item on the agenda is the consent agenda. And before we go into that, I think Manager Reckhaus had an ad or two that he wanted to make sure everybody was aware of.
Yeah, on the loan item on there, I just wanted to make one thing clear. Since this item was initially published, while the item itself hasn't changed and was described well and was noticed properly, there are two new documents that were added online since the initial publication. Just wanted to make note of that for the public. One is a signed loan agreement from the applicant, and the other is a signed promissory note. I just wanted to make that note on the record that those items are included in the packet as well.
Okay, is that it?
That's it.
All right, very good. Any questions on that particular item from anyone? All right. So then on the consent agenda, is there any trustee who wishes to vote no or pass on any consent item? Seeing none. Any trustee that wishes to have an item removed from the consent agenda? Is there anyone in the audience that would like to have a trustee remove an item from the consent agenda? If not, is there a motion for such approval?
So moved.
Second.
Okay, motion made by trustee Manganaro and second by trustee LaBedz. I believe this is a roll call vote.
Trustee Manganaro?
Aye.
Trustee LaBedz?
Yes.
Trustee Shirley?
Yes.
Trustee Bertucci?
Yes.
Trustee Schwingbeck?
Yes.
Trustee Dunnington?
Yes.
Trustee Santa Maria?
Yes.
Trustee Zyck?
Yes.
President Tinaglia?
Yes. All right, so all those items are approved. That includes the liquor licenses from the Committee of the Whole earlier tonight. So you folks are all approved and ready to go. The next item is new business, and we have an appointment tonight for Michael Peterman to the Plan Commission, term ending April 30th. Michael, could you please come up? Who made the motion earlier? Tom? Can I call on Trustee Schwingbeck?
Thank you, Mayor. I would move, as I did earlier this evening, to recommend the appointment of Michael Peterman to the Planning Commission with a term ending April 30th, 2028.
Second.
All right, motion is made by Trustee Schwingbeck, second by Trustee LaBedz. And is there any discussion? Anyone from the audience? Seeing none. So will you whole vote right now?
Sure. Trustee Schwingbeck?
Yes?
Trustee LaBedz?
Yes.
Trustee Santa Maria?
Yes.
Trustee Bertucci?
Yes.
Trustee Shirley?
Yes.
Trustee Zyck?
Yes.
Trustee Dunnington?
Yes.
Trustee Manganaro?
Aye.
President Tinaglia?
Yes. All right, very good. Last item. I have to read you your oath. Are you ready? This might be the hardest thing you have to do. So if you please raise your right hand as you have. State your full name. I,
Michael Peterman,
having been appointed to the Plan Commission in the Village of Arlington Heights,
having been appointed to the Plan Commission in the Village of Arlington Heights,
in the County of Cook,
in the County of Cook,
do solemnly swear and affirm
do solemnly swear and affirm
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of Illinois,
and the Constitution of the State of Illinois,
and that I will faithfully discharge the duties
that I will faithfully discharge the duties
of the office according to the best of my ability.
to the office
According to the best of my ability.
according to the best of my abilities.
Congratulations, I know you will. So there's a pin. This is a citizen's pin that all of us wear on our lapels. And then if you would mind, take this to the clerk for your signature, and then you're totally official. Congratulations. You bet.
Congratulations.
All right, now back to the agenda. Where'd that go? All right, last item on the agenda in new business is a review of a 12-month period ending 12/31/24, annual financial report by Lindsay Fish, principal at Zyck LLP. Are you ready? Ready. All right, come on up.
Well, thank you and good evening. Thank you to the members of the Village Board for inviting me to your meeting this evening to present to you the results of the audit as of and for the fiscal year ended December 31st, 2024. As a part of our audit, we issued several different reports. My focus tonight will be on the annual comprehensive financial report. That is the largest of the reports you've got in front of you. It has the white cover on it. So I'd like to begin with that one. We'll go a few pages in page Roman numeral number 3.
Can I interrupt you for just a second?
Okay.
Is there anything that our staff, Melissa, wanted to do as starting off on any of this, or should we just keep rolling as is?
Well, Lindsay, thank you so much for being here. And Mayor Tinaglia, I can just introduce real briefly, just to set a little bit of context. Our fiscal year closes December 31st, and then that kind of sets in motion the work of our staff. So headed up by Mary Juarez, our Assistant Finance Director, and our Accounting Manager, Alexis Smolson, and then Kevin Baumgartner, our Accountant Budget Coordinator, who head up the audit for the entire village, working closely with our departments. And a big thank you, of course, to the departments and to the village manager's office, and of course, to the support of the village board. We issue our audit in June each year, and then we invite our auditors, Lindsay Fish from our audit team at Zyck, to present to you the audited financials that are also listed on our village's website. So for those at home, if you would like to take a look at our audited financials, they are on the website. And in addition, in front of each of your dais presentation, you've got the audit right in front of you, as well as the board communication letter too. So I'll turn it over to Lindsay. Thank you.
Thank you, Melissa.
Thank you. So I'd like to begin with your annual comprehensive financial reports. That's the thickest of the reports in front of you, starting on page Roman numeral number 3. This is the Certificate of Excellence in Financial Reporting. This year marks the 35th consecutive year that the village has received this award, which is very impressive. This recognition highlights the village's annual report. It goes above and beyond the minimum basic reporting requirements. This demonstrates a strong commitment to accountability, transparency, and strong financial management. So I just wanted to, say congratulations to the village on receiving another award on your annual comprehensive financial report. I'm going to flip a few pages from there. You can, the financial section divider, it's the first page after that. This is your independent auditor's report on page number 1. This includes our audit opinion that was issued as a result of the audit. I'm pleased to share that we issued an unmodified opinion on the village's financial statements. This could also be called a clean opinion. So this is the highest level of assurance we can provide and indicates that the financial statements are fairly presented in accordance with generally accepted accounting principles. So this is the type of opinion that you want to receive. Congratulations on the receipt of that unmodified opinion. A few more pages forward from there to page number 6, also on Sickich letterhead. This is our report on internal control over financial reporting and compliance with laws and regulations. This report is required due to the level of state and federal funding the village spent during the year. I'm happy to report that we've also issued an unmodified opinion on compliance. We identified no material weaknesses or significant deficiencies in internal control and no instances of non-compliance. So another clean opinion there. Additionally, because the village spent over $750,000 in federal awards, a single audit was required this year as well. We have a separately issued report that is available for your review regarding the single audit. I won't cover that in detail, but again, no findings, no non-compliance issues noted as a result of that single audit. From there, the next page is MD&A number 1. This is the management discussion and analysis. So as it's titled, this is prepared by management. We just review it to ensure that it has all the required elements included. I always recommend if there's one part of the report that you're going to read, it's a pretty thick report, right? I would say start with the management's discussion analysis. Really good, like high-level overview of the financial picture of the village. And what you won't see elsewhere in the audit report, mostly in our audit report, it's a lot of numbers, but not much details behind why those numbers may have changed year over year or why you might have budget variances year over year. So the management's discussion analysis is a good place to go if you're looking for a little more commentary behind the why of those numbers. From there, your financial statements begin on page 8. So on page 8 and 9 is your statement of net position. So this statement of net position provides a broad, high-level overview of your financial statements. And the reason that I say it gives you that high-level overview is because it includes any long-term assets of the village, as well as any long-term liabilities, such as debt or pension obligations as well. So a good high-level overview, not something you usually use, on day-to-day operations, but it is, a required element of the financial statements and is required to receive that unmodified opinion. You'll see there's a few different columns on this page. So we've got our governmental activities and our business type activities. Our governmental activities are your tax-supported funds. And then your business type activities are those funds that are supported, self-supported using user fees. Aside from the normal items you'll see on the statement of net position, I just wanted to point out a few other sections here because we all know under assets, what cash means, receivables mean, but there's 2 categories that you probably don't see very often. There's your deferred outflows of resources and your deferred inflows of resources. So your deferred outflows are another type of asset, your deferred inflows are another type of liability. And what is primarily under those categories relates to your pension plans. So how that works with your pension plans, instead of having a large swing one year with your pension, if anything were to change market-wise or actuarial assumption-wise, this is smoothed over 5 years. And so the smoothing mechanism is what gives you those deferred outflows and deferred inflows. So you don't have one large change in pension expense in 1 year. So I just want to make sure I explained that. Bottom of page 9 is your net position. For governmental activities, the total net position was $203 million. That's the bottom line there. And then your business type activities net position was $110 million. For governmental activities, you had 187 million that was invested in capital assets. 54 million was under that restricted category for various reasons, generally due to tax levy restrictions. And then you had an unassigned or unrestricted deficit of 37 million. For business type activities, you had 45 million invested in capital assets and then 65 million in unrestricted funds. Next page from there, 10 and 11, is your statement of activities. Still that high-level focus of the financial statements. And the focus here would really be on page 11, your net position and your change in net position. So this shows you how it changed year over year. For the fiscal year, net position increased by approximately 9 million for your governmental activities and approximately 13 million for your business type activities. In addition, you'll see a line about 4 lines up from the bottom that says change in accounting principle, and I just wanted to make sure I explained that as well. New GASB pronouncement was implemented this year, Governmental Accounting Standards Board. GASB 101 on compensated absences. It changed the way that governments are required to account for compensated absences. So this standard gave us a more refined approach for that measurement, and we restated the beginning net position to recognize the effect of that new accounting standard. Your fund financial statements begin on page 12. 12 and 13 are your fund financial statements for your governmental funds. So these statements are presented on the current financial resources measurement focus basis of accounting. That's a lot to say, but what that means is it doesn't include any long-term assets, so it no longer includes your capital assets and does not include any long-term debt as well. So a current focus, probably more in the format that you're used to reviewing. Focus here is generally on fund balance and specifically in your general fund. So looking at your general fund balance, you had 37 million of fund balance. And I always compare fund balance to your annual operating expenses just to get a feel for how much you have in reserves. You had approximately 4 to 5 months worth of operating reserves on hand at year end, so right in the target range of where you want to be in your general fund. All right, from there we'll flip to page 15. This is our income statement for those same governmental funds. This just shows how your fund balance changed year over year. Overall, in that total column, the village's fund balance increased about 8.5 million. And then if you're looking, underlying reasons for these changes that I'm expressing, again, look at that management's discussion analysis, because that's where you're going to see a lot of the commentary behind why things changed year over year. Okay, a couple pages forward from there, page 17 and 18, is your statement of net position for your proprietary funds. So this includes water and sewer fund, you have non-major enterprise fund or proprietary funds, and then you also have a column called internal service, and you'll see that falls under governmental activities, so I want to take a moment to explain that as well. What internal service funds are, it's a type of governmental fund that's used by governments to account for services that are provided within the government. So that's what that internal service column relates to. This statement does have that same long-term focus as the statement of net position that we were discussing earlier. So these statements do include long-term, okay, I thought it went out for a second, long-term liabilities as well as long-term debt. And from there, we'll go to page 19, which is your income statement for those same proprietary funds. There was an increase in net position of approximately 13 million. So I'm looking at the total for the business type activities, not including the internal service fund. So change in net position of 13 million. And that increase in net position was primarily due to transfers in, as you can see from the line above that. Okay, pages 22 and 23 are your pension trust funds. So this displays the financial information surrounding your pension funds. I'll cover more information about your pension funds in a few moments here. As you continue flipping through, the next page is the notes to the financial statements. This provides detailed explanations and additional context, behind the numbers that you're seeing within the financial statements themselves. So this covers important information like accounting policies, assumptions made in your actuarial valuations, and details behind the figures you'll see within the financial statements. From there, I am going to transition to talking about the pension plans and their statuses, and we will start with page 86. So page 86 is the change in the net pension liability for the police pension plan. You're going to look at the far right column. So this information is as of December 31st, 2024. So a few key takeaways here. About halfway down the page, you'll see a total with 2 lines below it. It's called total pension liability. This is the amount that the actuaries estimate the village owes to cover all the future pension benefits. So for us, that number is $226 million. And then the second number near the bottom is the plan fiduciary net position, which is the second line up from the bottom that has the double underline. That amount was $197 million, and what that represents is the amount that the village already has set aside to fund those benefits. So then our bottom line there is our net pension liability, which is our total pension liability, less our fiduciary net position, what we've got set aside, gives us our net pension liability. So our net pension liability is $28.6 million. If you look on the following page, top right corner, it gives you your funded percentage. This tells us how much of the total liability is currently covered by the assets that you've got set aside. So you're looking at 87.3% funded, so very strong position there in that police pension plan. Page number 88 and 89 gives us similar information for the fire pension fund. So the total pension liability is calculated at $204 million. The plan fiduciary net position, the money you've got set aside, is $158 million, which leaves you with a net pension liability of about $46 million. Similar calculations, if you look at the following page, top right corner, you'll see that you're at 77% funded, so also well positioned there for your firefighters pension fund as well. And then I also wanted to cover the Illinois Municipal Retirement Fund, or IMRF, and that is on page 90. IMRF historically has been very well funded, and this year is no exception. You'll see that you have a, let's see here, net pension liability of $9 million. It's the second line from the top there. And that gives you 94.4% funded. So again, very well positioned in all of your pension plans. So that concludes my comments on the financial statements. I was going to make a couple brief comments on the communication to the Board of Trustees, but I'll pause and see if there's any questions on the financial statements first.
Trustee LaBedz.
Thank you. Thank you very much for this report, but I need for you to go back to GASB 101 because I didn't understand it.
Sure.
If you would explain it,
Yes.
please.
So GASB 101 was a new accounting standard that was required to be implemented this year, and it changed how the village has to account for compensated absences. So historically,
is
yes,
what?
historically, when you get paid for time off, so paid vacation, paid for not working essentially. And so most units of government, they look at paid vacation time, and that's really all you account for. Under this new statement, we had to look at any other benefits that were potentially provided to employees. So if there's any paid health insurance after employees may leave the village, something of that nature. And then also takes a look at paid sick time. So even if you don't get paid out your sick time when you leave, this new standard made us estimate how much of that sick time we think employees will use throughout their life at the village. So it changed how we estimated our compensated absence liability, just to make it more uniform across all governments.
Okay, so you have to estimate how much people might use as far as sick time, even though you don't know.
Correct. So just looking at, what we did here was looking at historical data and seeing a utilization percentage, and it's really just the GASB Governmental Accounting Standards Board is kind of going down the road of looking at any potential liability that could be out there, and then also making sure everyone's using a uniform calculation.
Okay, great. Thank you so much. I appreciate that
Yeah.
explanation.
Anyone else?
Okay. So the only other item I wanted to mention is the board communication that is also bound and should be in front of you as well. So this is a formal letter provided to the village board and management at the conclusion of the audit. It outlines, any challenges we may have faced during the audit, along with any, findings or recommendations or items of that nature. This letter also lists out any journal entries that were posted during the audit, as well as any unposted journal entries as well. So if something is not considered to be material, it can be an unposted entry as well, but we're required to communicate that to you. So there are 4 journal entries, not very many journal entries, very routine in nature, items that we have historically helped the village post these type of entries on an annual basis, so nothing of concern to me there. And then we did have 1 unposted entry, and that related to the recognition of ambulance receivables, and that kind of really changed this year. Due to the change in billing provider, we kind of took a second look at how we were calculating that and that receivable, and so we started recording that receivable this year, and last year's balance was posted as a past adjustment. Most importantly, as I mentioned, any findings or recommendations would also be included in this letter, and we had no formal findings or recommendations to report as a result of the audit. I would just like to wrap up my presentation by taking a moment to recognize the village staff. Melissa, Mary, the team is great to work with. The audit process is always incredibly smooth, and that's a direct reflection of the professionalism and responsiveness of your team. Always timely in providing information, and I just want to make sure the board recognizes all the work that goes on behind the scenes as well during the audit process. So thank you for all your hard work, and thank you.
Is that it, Lindsay?
That is it.
Well, it was very well done, very quick. I know Melissa walks in some big shoes from Tom Keeney through all the years of his work on this, and I know we take all this extremely seriously. This board, and I know I can speak for all of us, we take our finances and our responsibilities very seriously about how we do our taxes and how we spend our money. And so having you validate it as you do, it means a lot to all of us and the residents as well. So thank you for the work that you do, and Melissa and your team especially, thank you. Randy, anything you want to add?
Nope, think it's well covered.
Okay.
Mayor.
Questions from the board? Go ahead.
So thank you, and thank you again for your presentation. So you are very efficient, but when you were talking a little fast, I always kind of feel like I was catching up. So I just want to confirm a few things. So in the adjustments, the adjusting journal entries, I see it looks like the first three are just GASB adjustments to implementation of 101, 87, and 96.
Correct.
Okay. So the third one, I just wanted to make sure I'm understanding what's happening there. It says to correct pooled cash. And while it's not necessarily it looks like it's coming from the library budget. Is that okay?
Yep, that's correct. And that was just to correct the opening fund balance that was reported there. And while, the village isn't in charge of those funds, I believe we included this entry because it just needed to make sure it was posted in the system as well.
Okay. So I guess my question becomes, do you do a presentation similar to this in front of the library at all?
We do.
Okay.
Next week.
So they will be made aware
Correct.
of that?
Yes.
All right, great. Okay. And the other question that I have, and I know you mostly are, dare I say, looking backwards and making sure everything was done efficiently. Do you guys ever have any opinions on the amount of reserves that should be carried? When we were starting our budgeting process already for next year, one of the things that came up was reserving, and for a lot of reasons, right? Stuff happens, economies go down, sales tax all of a sudden, drops off the face of the earth. Somebody mentioned one of the questions from the audience was, when are we going to get our tax bill? Cook County they're 3 months late, whatever. Anyways, do you have a recommendation for a municipality in reference to a range of reserves that should be carried from year to year?
There's probably like a best practice range that you could have, but I would say the best practice would be to adopt a fund balance policy internally if you don't already have one, and adopt a fund balance policy that describes what your ideal ranges would be. Like, I would say, I said it's in the right range. Usually what we see is 3 to 9 months, but every government is different as far as what their revenue sources and expenses look like. So I don't have a straightforward, this is what I think you should have. I think that would be more of a management recommendation.
Okay. That's kind of a non-answer, but that's okay.
It's a safe answer.
That's the same. But 3 to 9 months, we can kind of put our arms around that, and I kind of understand where that puts us. So I appreciate that. Thank you. That's all the questions I have.
Okay, thanks, Trustee Bertucci. Trustee Santamaria?
Thank you, Mayor. It's not really a question, but just wanted to say something as I was reading through the audit reports, and as a resident and a taxpayer, I think there were a couple things, really significant investments that our village made across key areas that directly impact our lives every day. And for those who like to complain about taxes, because that's me as well, just wanted to highlight them because I think it's very important that we know what our village does. And so the investments that I saw really included more than $10 million towards ongoing street resurfacing and construction programs, $1.6 million for stormwater control improvements, $11 million for critical water and sewer rehab projects, which also included our lead service line replacements, and nearly $3.7 million dedicated to upgrading our village vehicle fleet. And these funds, additional funds, supported redevelopment efforts as well as technology and parking lot enhancements. So while it's easy to focus on the cost of taxes, I think what, again, really stood out to me was that we are living in a community that truly reinvests in itself and in our infrastructure and our safety and future. And so I wanted to just say thank you so much, Melissa, and to the whole finance team for really doing a fabulous job. And I'm not a big math nerd, but I enjoyed reading this. So thank you.
Excellent point, Trustee Santamaria. Anyone else? Trustee Zyck?
Okay, thank you very much, and thank you for the report. You know, it's fantastic when you see things like 35 years, you know, that we've gotten that accomplishment. It goes to show that we're doing the right things. It'd be interesting to know how we are doing compared to other villages also, but I'm guessing we've got to be up there. So Melissa, I know you're new on board, but thank you for keeping this going. And again, you do have a lot of big shoes to fill, and I know it's going to work very well. One question I had, and in a way, this is kind of to what Trustee Santamaria was saying, how important some of the things are that we do. One of the most important things that we do, besides what you just talked about, are also the pension funds. And when I look through these numbers, you know, and I see 77% for the firefighters and 87% for the police, and what was it, 94% for IMRF, you know, these are incredibly important for the people who are doing this work for so long that we have these so well funded. But when I look at these numbers, and it really hit me, the percentages, and I love historical things like this. This is where I do nerd out. And I start looking at these different types of things, and you know, we're at 77% in 2024. Back in 2015, we're in 64%. So we've done a great job of making sure that we're doing the right things. The one thing I see on this, though, and as we're talking about budgeting, we have to kind of keep paying attention to, is it seems like one of the big drivers in this is net investment income. That really fluctuates where that percentage is and where it's going up every year. And it's the one thing out of this whole thing that we don't have any control of. Well, I guess we have limited control depending on where we invest everything. And I'm kind of saying this more kind of getting it out loud and kind of getting my whole head together here, because as we're going through the budget and we have to, yes, all the different things that we do, I think I saw it within here that 86% of our expenditures, if I'm getting this right, Randy, tell me if I'm getting this wrong, go towards the protection of us and also the planning and the public works. That a big portion of what we're doing, but also is this. And we've got to keep making sure that we're constantly doing, we're going to do the right things, and we're going to do things that we have to do things that are funding correctly. But these are the right types of things that we have to make sure that we're keeping going, because, again, this pension thing is so important to me. We've got people who are doing such a good job for us for so many years. We have to make sure that when their time comes to retire, that we're there for them. So it's more of a statement. Apologize that I went on too long, but it's just something I just want to kind of get out there. Thank you.
Thank you, Trustee Zyck. Trustee Shirley, no?
Okay.
Anyone else? Okay. I think that's it. Thank you for an excellent job. Appreciate it. Anything else from staff at any level? Okay. I don't think there's anything else on the agenda here tonight, so if that's the case, a motion to adjourn is appropriate.
Mayor, would you like to move to accept the audit report?
Do we need a vote on it?
I think you do need a motion to accept the report.
Accept and place
All right.
on file, yeah.
Then I guess we need a motion to accept the audit report.
I move that we accept the audit report.
Second.
Okay. Motion made by Trustee LaBedz, seconded by Trustee Bertucci. Any questions or comments? If not, all those in favor? Or do we have to do a voice vote?
Voice vote's fine.
Voice vote's okay? Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
None opposed? Motion carries. Okay. Now that's taken care of. So now we can do a motion for adjournment.
So moved.
Second.
Trustee Zyck, motion made by trustee Zyck, second by trustee LaBedz. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Carries. We are adjourned. Thank you, everyone.